And I noticed there's some people here, so that's great. So let's get going. So today we are actually going to talk about a very strategic MOFR. MOFR stands for Make an Offer for Immediate Response. We use these at Agent Moves to communicate with our SOI past clients, sometimes leads, but mostly our SOI and our past clients 4 times a year with something of a lot of value. Now, what is a lot of value? So there are a lot of different options of things that you can try and do. And for March, which is coming up here very soon, the MOFR that we're recommending from a timing perspective, because it's spring right now, you're going to hit into the summer very soon where you get very busy. And the MOFR we actually recommend is an equity report. It is something that you can send out to your clients and your past clients and your SOI who live in the area and you've got an address for. And it's something of a ton of value that they can actually have and keep. And it sparks conversations because of what we put into it. So in today's conversation, we're going to talk about what that actually looks like, how you create it, and how you get it going. All right, I'm going to share my screen. And I will take you into this. So first, I just want to show you that use AI with as much as we can because it gives you leverage. And so we've got a prompt that we have created to help you generate the actual report, the equity report. But I will say that what's important about this is that it's actually the details which we've put into this. And it's very specific. So the way that we want you to appear when you send this report is like a real estate wealth advisor, right? Where you're actually giving them a tremendous amount of value on a home. Now, I've owned and I've purchased and bought and sold many homes, and I have never really received this type of equity report from anybody. I had to create this on my own. We honestly, like maybe in the last 5 years alone, we have bought and sold 6 properties. So we are constantly doing this in my family, and as investors we like to look at this report. So this is something that on my properties, and I have never seen a realtor actually show it to me in this way, but it was something that I got from actually from our real estate advisor, and it's a really good financial way to look at things, and it will create a conversation because that homeowner is going to call you and want to know a lot more about this because of how we structure it. So let me just jump into it right away. So when you are in Agent Moves, and let me share my screen. When you are in Agent Moves, you will see our prompt library, which is down here on the left. You can click on it and you'll get to our prompt library. If you actually just search for home equity, you'll see the annual home equity report. This is the prompt that we actually use, and it's really important how it's actually structured. That I try to do research prompts is I use a criteria I call proof, which is what is the purpose of this report you're creating? What's the actual research scope that I want you to look up? What is it supposed to actually do, right? What do I need you to provide me with? What's the output look like? And what are the footnotes? Like, where did you reference your data? This is the prompt structure I use, and in here contains a lot of information. So I've actually done this already. I'm in the process of doing yet another one, but I already did this for a home that you could kind of see what Manus produced for me. Now, anytime I'm doing research reports, I use Manus. The other alternative is Perplexity. I do not prefer that, but if you've got a lot of history in Perplexity, then use that. But otherwise, I would use Manus. It gives you, it doesn't really hallucinate. It gives you the sources of where it's getting information from. It will tell you how old that. It's just a more research-based AI tool. Okay. So when I put that in, it generated this report, which I just put into a Google Doc so I could show you. So what you actually are going to need to provide this prompt is for a property that that someone owns, right? That's in your database. Maybe it's a past seller or past buyer, or it is an SOI where you've got their address. You're going to want to put in their address into the prompt. And that is right here. You will put the address. You are also going to want to put the year that they purchased it. Now, Manus can find this information. It is available. It may ask you to log into a site to get it, but there is free information available, and sometimes it's actually on the Zillow record. But if you have it, you should put it in there because you know that you will be more accurate than anything. And then you want to put their purchase price as well. The information you actually need for the prompt to generate something like this. All right, so what it is first doing in this prompt is really just trying to get a sense of their current mortgage balance. That's really the important part, right? So what it's going to do is it takes an estimated down payment. Most people do 20%. And then it's going to calculate what their original loan amount is, which is basically the down payment minus the purchase price. It's going to look at the time that they purchased it to look at the average interest rates that were happening. At this time, it was 2019. So the interest rates were 3.75. Gosh, we missed those. So 3.75. And this will essentially get you to what the current mortgage balance would be based on how much of the principal they've paid off. Okay. So that will calculate it for you and you'll get to that. That's important for the meat of it, which is actually how much equity there is. So in terms of equity, I like to look at the current market value. You need that. That is what you're going to pull comps for. But in the prompt, it will actually pull comps for you. It will look through Zillow, Redfin, any of the sources that it gave it in the prompt, which you can see here. We actually tell it which sources to use, right? So it's going to use those sources and it's going to come up with a current market value. I would validate this information. You're the realtor, so you'll know, but you can definitely validate that information. There may be add-ons that you know that this person has put into their home. You're going to want to include that, but it should get you a current market value for the home. All right. Now, what's important about this is it's a range. Okay. It is not just the estimated value of the home. Okay. The range is so important. And I think almost everybody misses this. All right. So I will actually share my screen to show you a report that I get, which is from, one of the services like HomeBot. And it's so frustrating when I see this because this is not helpful at all. And that's why I actually want to show it to you. So this is a equity report that it gives you, and it says how much equity you have. Now, I like that because it tells you how much equity it has, but it's missing such a critical component. So what is